So he is asking, when meditating, how can we focus on investigating? Because they are also distracted by other thoughts, distracted away from the investigating. So how to focus on investigating?
Yeah, the master says that our minds are like wild horses, and or monkeys, and so you can't force your mind to stop. It just does what it wants to do. It jumps all over the place. So there's you treat your cultivation and your meditation topic like it's like having a there's a famous cow herding pictures in Chan. It shows a small boy with a water buffalo, and he's trying to keep the water buffalo walking behind him on a path down the road, and the water buffalo doesn't want to go down the path. He wants to go and eat grass, so he's constantly having to bring the water buffalo back to the path again.
师父说，人的思想就像一头水牛，然后那个水牛会到处的跑吃草，不受控制。然后当你参禅的时候，你想让这个水牛喝水，但是它会不断的就走开去吃草，或者是怎么样。然后你就只能够想办法，就是要不断的用功，不能让它跑掉，不能够走神。
So what happens is, of course, our minds are going to run all over the place. Now, as you sit longer and longer, your false thinking mind won't be so uncontrolled. But when we first start doing meditation, it's always like that. Our minds are like monkeys, or like wild horses. They'll go everywhere. So you have to bring your water buffalo back to the path. So how do you do that? Well, you have to have a lot of patience with yourself. Shifu always says you need to have patience when you do Chan. You need to be patient with your false thoughts and bring them back to the meditation topic. They'll wander off again, then you have to go back with your rope and bring the water buffalo false thoughts back to the path.
法师说，人的专注力容易在打坐时间变长的时候减弱，这个时候你很难能够有力量控制住自己。但是这个时候唯一要做的事情就是对自己要耐心一点，就不要说就打算，比如说不要太急躁，做一次禅就想开悟什么的，就对自己耐心一点，然后不断的努力去延长这个时间，然后把这个水牛想办法把它拽回到那个涛水上，就是参禅的话头上。
So for what I do, I don't know if it works for everybody, but for me, I find myself wandering off in a bunch of false thinking. And I say, oh, well, I'm off and running. So I sit, I find that I'm not sitting straight anymore. I'm like this and say, oh, sit back up again. And then I listen, open my eyes and listen to the wind and the trees and the birds and say, oh, this is the only thing that's happening, just this right now. Nothing else is really going on. There's no past, there's no present, or there's no past, there's no future, there's only the now. And then I go back and work on who is this listening to the trees sound.
法师说，当他偶尔也会走神，然后他走神的时候，他就会发现自己已经就是背弯下去了，然后放轻松了，他就会把自己的背再重新挺起来，然后听一听花和草，在听的过程之中，再继续拉回这个话头，参是谁在听这个花草声音，然后想办法把念头拽到那个参禅的话头上。
还有一个观众法师说了，他说他在那个时候听风的声音、听水的声音的时候，忘掉了过去，忘掉了将来，只有现在，就是这个 moment， 就这个时刻。
So this is a constant struggle, And but as time goes on, you get better at it. The master always told us the biggest thing is to learn patience. Patience, patience, gotta have patience, swopoho, to recite your mantra. And because when you first start Chan, it's almost, you say, oh, this is impossible. Your mind's going all over the place, thinking of everything. And but actually, you just be patient, bring yourself back to the present again, bring the water buffalo back on the path, and you start to settle down. Your mind starts to settle down as you work on your meditation topic. And now a lot of people would say, well, I did these 3 days of Chan. Now I'm going to drive home, go back to work. But you'll notice that you feel a little lighter, things are more clear. Even from doing these 3 days, you'll see that everything's a little easier on you, that you feel better. And this is pretty common. A lot of people have the same feeling.
哎呀法师说了，他说，这种 struggle 就是这种斗争啊，叫做就纠结的话是经常性的，所以说主要还是要就是说忍耐。以前那个宣化上人给了他们一首偈颂，叫忍耐，忍耐，再忍耐，说不后。
我觉得这里应该是有耐心的意思。他说参禅是一个长时间的斗争，所以你要对自己有耐心，这是失败了，下次再来。
然后那个还讲到就是说，虽然只有2天半，3天打禅，但是的话，你回去以后，你会觉得你身体会轻一些了，然后脑子会更清晰一些。
Now, like in Gold Mountain Monastery in San Francisco, we didn't have wind in the trees. We had traffic noise. So, and horns honking and ambulance sounds. So, and police sirens. So, it would be the same thing. I'd find that you're lost in thought. We call it lost in thought. Your false thinking just takes over. This first thing you do is you think, oh, am I sitting right? Maybe I'm leaned over. And you usually find out that you've slumped down like this. And then, so you put your spine back up straight and bring yourself back to the present. And the only thing that's going on around you is the sounds. So I always tune into the sounds, not to think about the sounds, just to bring them to the present, to bring myself to the present. And no matter what kind of sounds they are, it just brings you back to the very present moment.
法师说了，在金山寺过去的话，没有这里的水流风动的声音，但是的话，那里只有噪音，汽车的声音，各种各样的噪音，还有什么警察的那些声音。但是话没关系，都是声音。这种东西的话，就可以把人拉回到现在。所以说话法师经常他就是这样，就是说把自己融到这个声音里边，不是说去分辨这个声音，而是就是说让这个声音的话，把自己的那个妄念拉回到现实。
And even if you go back to your regular job or whatever you do in normal life, try to find some time of the day where you can sit quietly, even if it's just for a little while. Maybe even, just sit for 10 minutes before you go to work, or half an hour. And when you come back, maybe you can find time, try to sit. Maybe you can't do a full hour, maybe just try half an hour or 10 minutes, 50, anything, just to simmer down. And this helps a lot in your daily activities as well.
回去以后虽然有工作，虽然很忙，但是最好每天抽出一点点时间，10分钟、20分钟、半个小时坐下静下来，这样的话就可以帮助自己将来的话再到这里来打坐4个小时也没问题。
it centers you, they say, when you do that, when you have a practice. That's why they call Buddhism a practice. So your gym is your sitting cushion. That's your gym. That's where you work out. So you can sit for, if you can sit full lotus for 10 minutes, great. If you can sit full lotus for half an hour, that's even better. If you can sit full lotus for a full hour, that's even better yet.
他说禅修是一个时间的问题，就像你在gym锻炼身体一样，你要不断的去加强，然后一天比一天更好，就是你每天都要付出努力，不要就是打完这个禅期回去就懈怠了。
surrounding you.
What? It's a time. But I think that. Never mind.
Okay.
有时候不是说打坐的时间啊，让你坐在车上啊，那也是在用功嘛，就是说坐得很轻松，在车上。
She is asking when she cannot get a lotus like in a bus or somewhere else. Is there any method she can still work out?
You mean when you can't, like in an airplane? Yeah. Like I just sit in an airplane for 15 hours going to Taipei, and you can't sit in the lotus? That's real suffering. Suffering within suffering. Yeah, you just try your best. You do everything you can as if you were in the lotus. You keep your back straight, concentrate, put your eyes down towards your nose, but don't close them all the way. That's another thing that gets your false thinking going, is you close your eyes all the way. And all of a sudden you're lost in thought. So open your eyes a little bit, but not too much. Don't go like that. Then you'll just start looking around. Oh, what's going on? So if you look at a Buddha image, you'll see how it's properly done. How the Buddha's eyes are just right there. Of course, he's in samadhi. And but like a situation where you can't sit, you just can't sit in the lotus. And this happens a lot when I travel, because I have to, this year I got to go to Taipei, and then I got to go to Australia. Those are long runs, long train. It's 15 hours on a plane. And they don't give you any room on those planes anymore. They make them, the seats, every year it seems like they make the seats smaller and smaller and smaller. And they get them closer and closer and closer together. So it's real suffering. So I usually sit as long as I can, sit straight, and then stand up and walk back towards the back of the plane or the front of the plane or wherever I am, just to get the blood moving. And just treat it as a Chan Chi, but without the ability to sit in the lotus. You just have to try your best.
法师说，当你不能够结双盘的时候，你也要尽全力的去参禅，就是想办法把注意力转在话题上，然后你可以把眼睛就像佛像一样半闭着，就不要睁开，也不要闭上眼睛。然后法师说，当他在旅游的时候，比如说在飞机上，他实在是没有办法双盘，他会起来走一走，在飞机那里走一走，就好像在行禅一样，就是尽自己可能的办法让自己像在参禅一样。And I have something for his question. So what I felt yesterday is something that could help concentrate. So when you thinking something that you really interested in, it is easier to focus because you by nature you love it, right? So it's just kind of extra.
So that way you go further. 那样的话是我说想一个你比较感兴趣的话题的话，那样会跑得会更远。
不，但是你最后把它拉回来。And then because every topic will return to the question that who you are.
OK.
It's just a kind of some suggestion. It worked for me, but I'm not sure it was for everyone.
好，刚刚那个法师，有2个点，我想继续问2个问题啊。就是第一个的话呢，就是法师在前面做了个比喻，就是说我们在这个。
The first question Faster haven't answered yet.
First of all, everybody does this. You get into solving some problem in your life or whatever. How do I build this engine? How do I put together this house? How do I, that you start solving some false thinking question. It has nothing to do with Chan. I found that even though it's interesting to try to solve this issue in your life, whatever it is, like say, well, how do we solve this money I have to put in the bank, and then I got to start thinking about that you should break that up. Don't let it continue. If you start to get aware that, oh, I'm running away with my false thinking again, you should just chop that up. Say, okay, enough of that. Back to the Chan. You just got to take the rope from the water buffalo and drag him back into the path again, because the water buffalo is taking you off into the grass, and you don't want to go into the grass. You want to go down the path. So you should, when you find yourself lost in thought, as we say, when you are doing something like that, you should, and as you become aware of it, you should say, oh, wait, I'm wandering off. I need to bring this back and come back and sit up straight again. Open your eyes. You probably have your eyes closed. And then go back to your meditation. Bring yourself to the present and work on your hu wato.
同学提了一个问题，就说他在打禅的时候，有时候的他觉得他去集中精力想一个他感兴趣的问题，那么的话就觉得会这样的话妄念就会少一些，然后呢身体也会感觉做的舒服一些，也不会这么痛了等等，就是这种话题。然后呢他们俩还继续在谈呢，然后法师就做一个解释说，如果出现这种情况应该 stop， 赶紧把自己那个思绪拉回来。他说生活当中有很多 issue， 比如说银行的钱呐，存钱呐，或者是我要造一个基建，我要 build up 一个 engine 呐等等之类的，这种诸如此类的这一类的那个话题是很多的，但这个不是参禅，跟参禅一点关系都没有。必须就像这个时候实际上那个水牛的话已经去吃草了，这个时候你要赶紧警觉，用那个把那个牛鼻子用那个绳子把它赶紧拉回来，拉到现实当中来继续参禅。
That's why they represent like the 10 cow herding pictures. You'll see them if you look them up, and you can Google it. And you'll see it's always represented by a small boy, very small, young child, 小孩子, little boy. And he's very light. And the water buffalo is a great big animal, big dumb animal, much more powerful and strong than the little boy. And that's how we kind of are in Chan when we first start. We have a very weak ability to force our minds to stop running around. So you have to use your smart. You have to be smart about it. And so the little boy has a rope, and the rope is tied to a ring on the nose of the water buffalo. And so he's got to gently pull the buffalo back again. So the buffalo will slowly turn its dumb head towards the right direction. Otherwise, it's just going to wander off, and it'll drag the boy behind it. So he has to be smart. He has to carefully bring it back again and be very patient. And that's an analogy that Shifu has always taught us. You got to really be patient with your monkey mind, because it wants to go wherever it wants to go.
那个在禅宗里边有一个图叫木牛图，非常非常有名，大家请去那个 Google 去 search。那个木牛图的话大概有10个境界，永远就是一个小孩子和一个大水牛开始的时候就是不是开始，这整个这个图它是10幅图，大家可以去体会，就看那10幅图，它是一步一步的怎么那个从一个小孩子他怎么去降服一头巨大的牛，那头牛的话就是我们的那个妄念。那个开始的时候小孩子的力量很小，牛的力量很大， 但是每一次他必须非常小心翼翼的把那个牛的鼻子拴了一根绳子，把那个绳子，当牛要跑出去践踏庄稼，要去吃草，要去就是按照他的想法去走的那个方向去的时候，这个小孩子总是小心翼翼的把这个牛拉回到正确的轨道上来。所以我们想做的事情就是这件事情，就是说怎么当思绪纷乱的时候，这个牛要跑出去了，大水流，然后我们得把它牵引回来。
I know Shifu used to tell me, because I get really upset and angry that my mind's running around. He says, you can't get angry at your mind. You can't get angry at your false thinking. He says, don't lose patience with yourself. You have to be very patient. And bring yourself back to the present and work on your meditation topic again and again. Just be very patient. That's the main theme he always used to say when you first start out in Chan, in meditation. You want to be just patient with yourself. Don't be angry at yourself for false thinking. Don't say, oh, why am I doing this? I'm really bad. I shouldn't be doing it. Don't be that way. Just say, oh, I'm off and running again. Come back, water buffalo. Come back to the path. And then just slowly work on that. And you have, as time goes on, you have more ability to stay in the present. And I always say, this is the most important moment, right? This moment, this very instant is the most important. There's nothing more important. Nothing in the past is more important. Nothing in the future is more important. Only this moment is the most important.
法师讲了，就是说他过去在禅坐的时候，有时候非常不高兴，非常愤怒他自己的那种就是说妄念，然后就上人就说你没有办法，你不能对他生气，他要生气，你不能对他生气，因为那是你自己的思想，你自己的思想，你没办法生气，你只能唯有一个办法，就是你必须就是说忍耐，patient be patient， 就是忍耐，然后的话慢慢的就是说就像水流把它拉回到正确的轨道上来，这是永远的一个就是说要做的，就是忘掉过去，忘掉未来，就是现在认为这个时刻是最重要的时刻，就停定在这个现在这个时刻，然后把这个妄念拉回到轨道上来。
So I have a reason for that suggestion, and then I will come to my question. So yesterday when I want to focus on who I am, this topic, I feel kind of not sure what to think of. So I need some context about this topic. So I just record my whole life, and then but it still helped me focus on who I am, this topic. And then I found that myself is just it's just not the owner of my body. It's just something came from the past, and so it's in some level it's not real. And then I enter some kind of space which cannot feel the pain, and also I hear my heart is like boom 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 boom, so it's very loud, and then I cannot feel my finger and I cannot move it, but I think it's just some condition. And today I am awake, but I think I'm dreaming. So I see image, video, or something happen, just keep happening in front of my eye, even if my eye closed or open. But my conscious is awake. I'm sure I'm awake. I didn't feel sleepy. So what is that? And what should I do in the future?
Well, these are all kinds of conditions that happen to us when we start doing Chan. Some people have this kind of experience. And as the master always says, you should feel good about it, that things are happening, things are popping, but don't get attached to them. Don't try to analyze them too much. People what they do is they try to make a big deal out of it. They say, oh, this is really important. I got to really, why did this happen and that? And actually it's just kind of, it's just sort of sparks on the track. In other words, things are happening. That should make you happy. But that's about it. You don't want to start analyzing what's going on there too much. It's still, that's just another kind of false thinking anyway. When you really break through and have an awakening of any kind, you'll know deep down, won't be any question in your mind what happened. And you won't have to even ask a question. If you ever read the stories of all the different kinds of situations where cultivators have woken up and how they express that, you'll understand. They don't ask the teacher, oh, what does this mean? What happened? No, they just immediately say, oh, where have I been? I've been asleep all this time. I finally woke up. Or they'll write a poem like Shu Lao did. They'll just say, oh, where have I've been away from my true home for so long. It's not as if you've returned home to your real self. It's not something you would have to ask somebody. What happened to me? What does this mean? What does that mean? They'll just know. You'll just know, because all of us have true wisdom. All of us have the Buddha nature, and when we wake up to it, we don't need to be asking questions about it. We'll just know right away. Oh, okay. Oh, where have I been? I've been asleep. And that's, then if there is a master near you who's awakened, they'll recognize it instantly. And there's some really great stories of master-disciple interaction at the time the disciple wakes up. They'll have this incredible conversation. And it's almost like listening to two violins play together in a symphony or something. It's just, they're totally in harmony. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, you've just tuned into how the universe really is. So that's the best I can explain it.
我就是根据这2天自己的经验，一些境界上的问题问了来法师，然后来法师说，上人在的时候说过，打坐会出现各种各样的境界，但是有一个很重要的点，就是不要去执着它，不要去解释，尤其是不要去分析它为什么会出现这样的境界，或者这个境界是什么。然后 move on 就是继续去修行，就不要太执着这个境界，过去了就让它过去。然后来法师说他
说的，法师还说的就是说，在过去很多公案当中，就是说有那个 disciple 开悟的情况，那么这个时候师父是能够知道的。师父知道了以后的话，在那个点上的话，他们就会有一种非常精妙的对话，那种对话完全不是用语言来做的，就像两把小提琴在互相的就是说在这种交响乐声当中的这种和弦，所以说在这种声音，所以不要去在意，反正出现警戒应该说还是很好，但是呢不要去执着，不要去解释，特别不要去分析。
师父好像还有一个 point。 What is the last point? So in the previous topic you see 3 points. First one is don't analyze. The second one is for the people who woke up, they will talk to each other like two violin. And what is the third topic? Okay, never mind.
I don't know, what did I say? Oh yeah, you'll know it. We already know, because we already have the Buddha nature, all of us do. And you'll wake up to it. You won't have to be asking, oh, what does this little thing happen? I had this experience or I had that, you'll just say, oh, okay, I know now.
I have a question. Actually, I have been said meditation for quite a while, but really never been so patient to myself. I never can investigate Huatou because I feel that's not really fit on me. I feel really my mind cannot drilling down. But right now I deal with this kind of, when I sit down, I know any forethinking is forethinking. It's not true. So I just like that. I'm just listening to the water, especially come here. I like here. I listen in the water. I listen in the wind. I just, like you say, I'm just right now exist in this moment. I know I'm existing. Without my existing, anything is for thinking. But I know those force thinking. I don't refuse. I don't analyze. But of course, sometimes I follow the force thinking. But I will very soon. I will recognize. Oh no, I'm not go there. I need to turn back. Stay in this moment. And also, I another thinking is still thinking. No matter what force thinking is, they still come from my Buddha nature. So I just need recognize my Buddha nature and hold there. And then I think still like if this is still meditation.
Tripoli always talks about your meditation topic, your Huatou. He says you need to use poison to cure poison. He says all thinking is false thinking. So you just use this who is mindful of the Buddha, or who was I before I was born, or whatever the way you want to approach it, as kind of a poison to cure the poison. That's the way the master always talks about it. So yeah, you use an expedient device of your false thinking to bring yourself into investigating who you truly are.
翻译一下，我刚才问到来法师一个问题，就是说我打坐时间也比较长，但是呢，我从来不喜欢就是说，去参话头这种事情。但是呢，我总是知道，就是说，不管怎么样，你的这些妄念，当你有妄念的时候，你赶紧把自己拉回到现实当中来。我也是这样做的。然后呢，我主要在这里的时候，我主要喜欢听这个流水的声音。我觉得这个流水的声音，让你能够就是说你的脑袋的话，能够就是说比较空灵，比较安静。然后我时时的就记住我的，不管它妄念也好，什么念也好，都是我的真心出来的。我只要能够认识我的真心，那么我的妄念自然而然的话，它就退却了。但是来法师说，他说师父，来法师回答这个，我说我这个是不是 meditation？ 我说我这个是不是打坐？来法师说，师父总是告诉他们，这个参话头的话是用一种以毒攻毒的办法，所以的话，这样的话，你知道，就是说你在参话头的过程当中的话，就是说你可以就是说到达某种状态吧，以毒攻毒。
So I think you didn't say it right. So it is when your one nian fade, you will see your true heart. So it's not when you see it will fade. It's when it fades.
No, I just totally ignore those forethinking. If I follow one step, I can wake up and say, oh, I need to go, go back, not follow that kind of forethinking. But I really want my whole thinking melt into that water for noises, and then feel I'm nothing. Everything nothing. That's how I concentrate on.
Okay. We can have lunch now.
Question.
Oh.
For me, during this meditation, I feel something that I don't know. I try to use English to express as much as I can. Because during the process of investigation, the who am I or something like that, I have a feeling like the full lotus is the main purpose of that one, because inject the pain into the mind. and because of that pain, it's helped us to see who you are, like the way I am. So for example, the first time I pull the feet in the position of full lotus, I feel like, oh, it's a lot of pain. Pull it out, feel good. Put it back in, feel pain again. So I start feeling, oh, those kind of process of feeling pain or feeling good, it's just the interpretation of the mind based on the condition of the body when it, the condition outside when it hit to the mind. And something like that. And investigating a little bit more, and I feel like the mind just goes through all kind of like a false definition. I start feeling like, why we cannot feel like the good feeling instead of, for example, we put feet down, why we don't feel suffer because of that one, but just the pain, the mind say, this is suffer, and the other one we feel happy. So the same thing, and then I investigate more and I see suddenly I sit under the sun, and the sun put a lot of heat into my body, and my mind start feeling like, oh, this is hot. We have to do something to. It's not feeling comfortable. And suddenly the cool breeze blowing in, and I feel like, oh, it's good again. So I feel like those kind of things is like the mind has some layer to interpret this kind of input from outside environment and try to turn that one into the reaction. And I feel like that's a reaction of the mind interpretation. Is that the who we're talking about?
It's awful analytical. This, but basically, you're correct. I mean, the Shifu always used to tell us the reason you have pain in your legs is because we're having false thinking. If you were able to stop it, if you're able to stop your mind from false thinking, and your legs would immediately become very comfortable, almost immediately. The pain would completely dissipate, as if it was a bad dream. It would just go away. You'd be able to sit in lotus all day, all night. You could sit for weeks. You could sit for months, full lotus. You wouldn't even notice it. Because we have our false thinking, we have this thinking always going on. Shakespeare called it the pale cast of thought. And it's like you have an overcast day, and all that is thinking, just thought. And you can't see the sun. You can't see the mountains. You can't see anything because it's overcast all the time. And that's why our legs hurt so much. And so it is true that the master always said, that's why we have our pain. And it showed me when we did the 21 hours chants that I was able to sit after they hit the final fish for the last sit. Everybody could go back to their rooms and sleep for 3 hours or 3.5 hours. We just stayed there, and I was able to stay in the full lotus, and it was because it was just not because I had attained any enlightenment. It's because my mind is finally just given up false thinking for a while and just relaxed my legs. And I was able to sleep in the full lotus, and it wasn't painful at all. But then the day would start again, and the pain would start up again because my false thinking would start up again. It was almost on cue. You can almost set your watch by it. See, oh, here you go. Here goes the pain. It's going to start again. So that's true. You do have that kind of thing. But ultimately, when we truly can wake up, then you don't have this pain. The master, he sat in Hong Kong on that rock. He went into samadhi for several, I think it was a couple of weeks, just sitting there. It didn't come out for 2 solid weeks. So that's how it is once you wake up your mind and stop it. Is able to go into true samadhi, which is a state where you don't have a lot of false thinking. There's just none. It's just clear as a moonlit night. Okay.
就是说，打坐可以治病是吗？就是说，我看过书上说，可以治疗自己的五脏内腑的病，或者是说，也可以把自己不通的地方打通，他要如何做
？She asking, say if the meditation can cure the illness because she read the book and then the book. She feel. Okay, let me start translate again. She asking if meditation can cure the illness because she read some book and say, oh, meditation can help your organ, inside the organ get a cure, get a recover. If this is true, how she could do it?
Cure your illness? The illness of false thinking or like a body illness?
Body illness.
Oh, I don't know about that. I imagine it would if you really woke up. There was, where a medicinal, Shifu lectured this one time. There's a book on Chinese medicine. It's a classic. I forget the name of it. Maybe somebody here can remember, but there's a classic book out there from way back centuries ago from the Dharma Master who was a monk and he had attained enlightenment. And he wrote the fundamental classic of Chinese medicine. And he did it because he was able to, when he ate something, he was in samadhi all the time because he's already attained enlightenment. So when he ate something, he'd try something out. He'd just grab some plant something and eat it. Then he'd watch it go into his system. And because he's able to open up all his five eyes, he's able to see how his system would react to it. And whether it was good or yin or yang, whether it was good or bad, then he'd write it down. Sometimes he'd get really sick. But he would say, okay, that's no good. Then he'd try another one. And there's whole book is like that. Shifu lectured that one whole summer one time. And I just don't remember the title of it. Yao Xin Fu. Okay. And so you can say, yeah, that's a good way to cure it. But you wouldn't want to, we don't do Chan just to cure a body illness. That's not our primary objective. It's kind of like a sideline thing. That's a good thing that can happen, but we wouldn't do Chan just to cure some sort of body illness.
好 ，OK， 刚才有个法师问，就是说，能不能够就是说通过禅坐的话，修复身体上的一些疾病？来法师说，这个我倒不清楚。但是呢，他推荐了一本书，就是上人写过一本书叫《药性赋》，大家可以去看一看。那个《药性赋》的话，那个药的话，实际上，当时上人也讲过这个故事。当时的话是这个开悟的觉者呀，他开悟了，那个药王，那个神农当时他是开悟的，他五眼是开了的，然后他就开始神农尝百草，然后各种各样的药他吃下去以后。他能看到那个药在自己身体里头的变化，那个药是怎么一个走向，经络怎么一个走向。有些药非常好，这个好他就记下来；有些药是毒药，他也受了很多，身体上也很 suffer， 也受了很多苦，就是吃了一些毒药，然后看这个毒药的药性又是怎么样的。所以的话，上人就解释了一本书叫《药性赋》。所以大家要治病呢，就是可以去看看那个书。禅定的主要目的的话，不是那个治病这些不是禅修的目的。
So what was the name of the book? Jin?
药性赋。
药性赋. How does that translate?
The medicine character of the poem or something should say that. The character of medicine, Chinese herb. Yeah.
The character of Chinese herbs?
Yeah, I think I translated like this way.
Anyway, the master, I remember he lectured that. That's what he did. Okay. 阿弥陀佛。
我有一个问题。我是两个。刚刚那个。不好意思。刚刚其实第一个问题就是法师回答的时候的话呢，有两个点我在思考了。就是一个是法师在回答的时候用了个比喻，就是说我们像水牛这个分别念，然后的话拉它去喝水的时候，它偏偏去吃草，这样的话我们分别念就是一直在外面，但是没有安住在这个话头上，用这个比喻来说明这个问题。那就是说， 我在想，就是如何把这个草，可不可以把它变成水？这是第一个问题。
Let me translate. Don't be too long. First, okay.
Let's say together and then.
Can you translate directly asking question?
你来翻译比较好。第二个问题的话呢，就是说，刚刚师兄就是说的那种觉受的话呢，有的时候我也可以升起来这个几秒钟，就是说可以安住在这个风声当中啊，或者是这个安住在当下的这个觉受当中。但是这个的话不一定是智慧，就是如何把这个觉受的这个觉性进入到这个智慧的这个体性当中去，就是说开悟的这个，就是那个切机的那个点如何进去。
Two questions. First question is, you use some kind of 比喻怎么说？Say the example about the waterfall. Suppose he drink the water, but he goes to eat grass. His question is how change the grass to the water.
I don't understand the question.
So you said you are trying to make the waterfall on the path of our topic, right?
No, not the waterfall, the water buffalo.
Yeah, the water buffalo. Yeah, the water buffalo. Sorry.
Oh,
You said water buffalo supposed to drink water.
what is the Chinese for water buffalo?
水牛.
水牛.
Yeah, water buffalo.
So I think here what
He wants to say, suppose the water buffalo need drink water, that's the correct path. But right now the water buffalo go to the grass.
So
He
yeah.
wants to change the grass to the water. Is there any way to change that?
That's not the point of the cow herding pictures. It's not what the water buffalo wants. It's what you need the water buffalo to go on the path to enlightenment. So it's not a question of can he drink water. All that is irrelevant stuff to the principle of keeping the water buffalo on its path. What basically the little boy is doing is going down the path towards enlightenment with the water buffalo. The water buffalo is who? The water buffalo is our false thinking mind. So it's not whether you can change grass to water or water. It's not even irrelevant to what you're trying to accomplish.
法师的意思就是说，有时间想这个，不如专注在参禅上。
If you read that, you can look it up, and it has there's 10. I think there's 10, right? There's 10 stages, and then there's at these different stages. These are like 10 stages of enlightenment. Is what they are. They're representative. It's It's what do you call it? A metaphor? Is that a metaphor or an analogy? Anyway, it's one of those, and it's basically just giving you the idea of why they put it in that way. Something you can. Just a way to approach the problem.
Actually, an allegory.
Allegory.
Yeah, because it's more than there's a bunch of metaphors. The
Yeah.
last one I remember, he's sitting on top of the buffalo.
Yeah.
The buffalo's going right.
Yeah. It's an allegory. It's the English word for it. I don't know what the Chinese word for allegory is, but that's the English word.
Another question is, yes, he can sometimes his mind is stop and in some kind of tranquility and no false thinking, but how he can use this moment and turn into the wisdom, because this is not wisdom yet. How he can use this kind of moment when he has no false thinking, that moment turn into the wisdom or kai wu.
Yeah. Well, if you have no false thinking, you'll naturally attain wisdom. It'll naturally happen if you really can stop your false thinking. It will naturally, if it just stops. Another word in English could be arrest, when your mind arrests, when it stops completely. That's it'll naturally happen. It's not something, what can I do to open it? It's already happened. If you truly stop your false thinking, it's stopped. Your mind, your false thinking is stopped. It's arrested. That's the beginning of samadhi. You just boom. Then you don't have. It's not. It's going to naturally happen. It's a function.
But I read from books that even people who wake up, he or she will still have some false thinking, although they don't attach it to so much. So
that's absolutely correct. That's why you have different levels of enlightenment. This first stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage, fifth, you just go up these different stages we all have this mind and it continues. Even if you were able to stop it for a moment and wake up to the first stage, that's called the joy of leaving filth. Why do they call it the joy of leaving filth? It's because you've left the filth of false thinking for a moment. You've said, oh, all this thinking, good, bad, and ugly, it's all false. That's it's like a great release. You say, oh, we put so much importance to our thinking, but it's not important at all. Our thinking is all false. So when you first taste that yourself, that's the joy of leaving filth, the first stage. They call that the first stage of arhatship, right? When the joy of leaving filth. What is filth? The filth of false thinking. Good, even if you have good thoughts, even if you're thinking of the Buddha, that's still false thinking. And when you arrest that and stop it, that is the first joy, the first release. It's the first joy. And yes, you're right. There's different stages. You still have false thinking. It'll come back again, almost immediately, in fact. So you have different stages of cultivation. Like the master, he was able to really get into deep samadhi. Some people can get into maybe very light samadhi, but it's just different stages. And eventually you get to a stage where you don't need to return at all. It's like riding the buffalo. Yeah, that's the riding of the buffalo stage.
翻译吗？
Okay. 阿弥陀佛。
阿弥陀佛。